Hey guys, it's the Whale coming at you with my updated Purrely deck profile for the month of May 2025. Let's just say that we're already there basically. So anyway, I love this deck. If you guys haven't noticed, I have been grinding with this deck for the past probably 2-3 months, and it's the deck that I feel most comfortable with. I got a regional coming up here, so I'm planning on going to it, and I will be taking Purrely. So like I said, I'm gonna be grinding more and more of Purrely. I love the way this deck works. If for those of you guys that are just interested in the deck image, not my spiel, there's always going to be a link down below. That being said, I do want to give a shout out for this deck, especially to Robin D, also known as Baltic Broadbulls on YouTube. He makes extremely great Purrely content. He's a great guy. He's actually the one that recently topped, I believe, a regional. Somewhere in Europe. I'm sorry, but he was playing Purrely, and I grab a lot of ideas from him, and we talk on Dueling Book. The guy's great. I'm gonna link down his channel below, and you guys can learn from him like I did as well. So let's get right into it. This is just the build that I right now feel most comfortable with, and like I said, it's the build that I will probably keep innovating going forward. So let's start. Okay. So, let's start with the main deck monsters. We're obviously playing the one, the two, the three Purrely, the White Cat. Okay, so let's talk about this. I have for the longest time been running Purrely at the White Cat at two for the longest time. I've recently found that if you draw one, you have one in deck for your engine for your quick play spells. And even though they're not once per turn, so you can normal summon that one, and then if your opponent decides to do some interruption, you can just kind of tutor it out in the extra deck. I'm sorry, in the main deck to the one that you have in the main deck. But the thing is, with this deck, you really need that consistency. Okay, me personally, guys, again, you do not have to run three Purrely, but give it a try. I did pick up the deck and I learned the deck with only two White Cat, but I kind of fell in love with the three cat. And again, I take a lot of inspiration and I watch all of the Witness and Baltic Broadbulls YouTube content, and they're all on three Purrely. And it's again, I just feel the most comfortable with three Purrely. And then for the other monster in the deck, we're obviously running the two Purrely, Purrely, or the two Black Cat. So I was looking at some old Dinkin fam Purrely content, and he did say that if there is a cat that you want to include three of in the deck, is actually three black cat and two white cat. I have played with that ratio, and I just don't like it. So with black cat, the thing with black cat is it's just a hard once per turn. So be very careful on when you use which effect, ladies and gentlemen. So I rarely ever want to see this in hand because I want to special summon it out through the deck, not just because it deck thins, but usually because by the time I special summon it out, I will have insulation protection with my field spell to make it untargetable, which will let it go through if they already blew an ash or something of the matter. So again, that's just kind of like an idea if you want to mix up the ratios, or again, you could just cut the one white cat and then tutor it in with absolutely whatever you want. As of right now, I'm still playing with three cats. I personally like it. Three of the white, two of the black. The black is a hard once per turn. If you guys need more of an in-depth, like you're just trying to pick up the deck, there's a ton of stuff on YouTube, and I believe my last video was also kind of like a in-depth Purrely analysis of every single card and what the general game plan of the deck is. So that is it for the main deck Purrely monsters. Let's go to the engine, right? So for the engine, we are of course running the three My Friend Purrely. Uh, this is arguably the best continuous spell. I mean, it's you only run the one continuous spell. This is the one continuous spell that you run in the deck, but this card is absolutely fantastic. It's probably it's the card that gets ashed the most, but I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of Purrely players, I feel like you guys need to utilize the fact that just because you don't get a big noir or you don't get the rank up that you want, let's just say you want to go for plump, and the only thing that you have in the graveyard is a happy memory, and you can only go for a happy. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have this in hand, just activate this. Do not activate the effect just in case there's a ghost ogre or something of the matter, right? Just leave it on the board and then rank up with either your white cat or your black cat, crash into your opponent's monster, and then happy memory. Excuse me. The happy cat. I always forget. The happy cat goes to the graveyard, activates effect. You search, and then this effect activates to add, three different quick play Purrely spells with different names from your graveyard to your hand. So it just refills your hand. This card is extremely imperative, and I feel like it's not utilized enough from the Purrely players, from the people that are picking up this deck at the very first time. Like me, I did not utilize this second effect as much as I should have. This card is absolutely cracked. Okay, and by the way, it's whenever a Purrely XYZ leaves the field. So if by any chance they get rid of your field spell and then they SP Little Knight your XYZ to banish it until the end phase, your XYZ did leave the field by card effect or by your opponent's card in general, period. So this activates to then add back all your Purrely spells. This is great. The other probably the protection card, which I think this card is absolutely crazy. Let's just go. Let's put that here so you guys can see it. The three field spells. The three Purrely Street. Straight Purrely Street. This card is what protects your cats from essentially their effects not going through. But it also protects, the most important thing, it protects your black cat. So your black cat, remember that your black cat is a hard once per turn. So once you use that effect, and if they have some type of Veiler, Imperm, or something of the sort, and you do not have the protection, like let's just say the targeting protection from Street, you can't use that effect anymore. That's why I never want to see Black Cat in my hand. I always want to tutor it out from the deck, and I will probably, after watching like Robin's dual replays and stuff, he almost always, unless it's the only option, he almost always keeps the black cat in the deck until this card is on the field to really protect it. I'm sorry, I didn't talk about this. So this card, the Street, basically protects your Purrely monsters the turn they are special summoned from targeting. So that means your Veilers, your Imperms are completely turned off from your opponent's side, and if a Purrely XYZ leaves the field, mandatory chain link 1, you have to special summon out a Purrely from your deck and or graveyard. So really, really good. And so we're running 3 of the continuous, and we are running 4 of the field spells. The field spell is just too good. It's too good right now. There's too many hand traps. You want to see this card as soon as possible. Yes, if you open up like 2 Street, it kind of sucks, but it's not the end of the world because it does protect your other engine. So that is it for, I would say, the part of the engine. All right, now let's go through the actual main engine that gets you to your Purrely stuff. So we're obviously running the 3 pretty. Again, I go into an in-depth analysis on what these cards really do. Essentially, this doesn't require anything on the field, so you can activate it during the draw or standby phase to play around draw. You can even activate it during the end phase. And then special Purrely, if this is under a Purrely XYZ, it gains the effect to send 1 card you control to the graveyard, target 1 card your opponent controls, and absorb it. So it's a way of that card not even touching the graveyard. Great spot removal. 3, Happy Memory. This card is fantastic. Like I said, me watching Robin's replays, I've noticed that he usually prioritizes this because this protects a card on the field from being destroyed by card effects. So he usually searches this, and then he activates this just in case there's like a Ghost Ogre. He can always just chain this to protect Happy, and Happy resolves, and then this resolves. It's really, really good. Not only that, like I said, at my locals especially, there's a couple of Fire King players and Unchained players. So this is just, people tend to forget, this is really good against those because you can protect their set from their Shivara, and it cannot be destroyed. Therefore, it does not special summon, and it's really good. It's won me multiple games as well as in the Fire King matchup. So, extremely potent. For the rest of the engine, we're running obviously the two delicious. Okay, this card's at one for a reason. Excuse me. This card's at two for a reason. This is your quickest access to Big Noir, essentially turn one. I would say if you do not have this is what you usually want to turbo out the two delicious turn one if you can, if you go first, and then of course the two sleepy. There's only two, unfortunately. So sleepy essentially is the thing that lets you keep drawing during your opponent's standby phase. It lets you go into little noir, little black noir, and that lets you get your trap and then rank up. Like I said, I always tend to prioritize delicious into happy into pretty because those are your main things. Big noir, if you have a big noir and you have a delicious, it becomes ginormous, very difficult to beat over, if near impossible. Happy, a lot of people that I notice just kind of sit on the big noir forever. You don't need to do that, in my opinion. You can just switch that sucker to attack mode once it has enough materials in attack, and this allows you to continuously attack your opponent's monsters with being a towers and being unaffected. Like I went over pretty, and then sleepy obviously is the standby phase draw, and then the last of the Purrely, we are running the one trap. I recently found that I don't utilize this card as much, and that is a mistake on my part. Like I said, looking at Robins and looking at the Witness, they utilize this card almost every game. The thing is, I always try to turbo out the big noir, and it's my fault as a player because I zero in on the delicious. I have to see delicious because then I'm able to go into big noir without this, and I don't have to worry about it getting bounced back at the next end phase. So my fault. I really do need to utilize this card way more. So that is it for the basically the emergency teleports in the deck. Obviously with the one trap is pretty consistent. I have nothing to say about that right there. So let's go to the rest of the engine. So we're obviously on a going second build. I don't like hand traps in Purrely at the current moment because in the end of the day, you're dumping your hand, and this deck is you can only play while having a hand. So why would you want to dump your hand even more? In my opinion, I'd rather just play board breakers. Let's run the three brow. Again, this is something that Robin D turned me on to, and the Witness. The Witness also runs brow, so this card is absolutely fantastic. Basically, you dump it off your quick play, and then you draw one. On resolution, this has to be chain link 1, obviously mandatory. It's a Dark World monster, so chain link 1 brow, and then chain link 2, let's just say white cat or black cat or whatever. This card is just really good because it recycles your hand, so you don't lose as much advantage, because like I said, this deck you do play with your hand. Not only that, Mitsurugi is becoming extremely popular, especially now with the support. And whenever I'm trying my best for them to chain the Mitsurugi that discards, and then I'm like, okay, fine, discard brow. Since I discarded it through an opponent's card effect, I draw 2 cards instead of 1, and that comes up so often, it's not even funny, and it really makes them think like, okay, what am I going to use the effect on, going into game 2 and game 3. So 3 brow. Another card that I just love in Purrely, and if you guys see my past deck profiles, I included it. I'm not running the Foolish Burial Goods package in this build, even though I do have access to it. I want to try something else because I think this card is so fantastic this format. So I'm playing 3 Fenrir. Like I said, Fenrir right now is in a fantastic spot with Cashier Unicorn. So I even wanted to play Purrely Cash, or because the Cashier cards are just so phenomenal. But right now I only have access to the 3 Fenrir, and Fenrir has been fantastic. Fenrir all on its own is almost like a pseudo board breaker, right? Because you plop this down, and then you can kind of go to your plays, and if your opponent decides to hand trap or use a monster effect on the board, you can activate this, and it has to force another interaction, or they lose a face-up card that they control. I think this card is fantastic. Not only that, it replenishes your hand almost like Brow, right? It does play a little harder into Droll. I was playing Lightning Storms in the main, but I'll talk about Lightning Storms when we get to it on the side deck. And I mean, again, you can play into Foolish Burial Goods because Foolish Burial Goods, even though it does play into um, Droll in the same manner, I just rather have this monster on board rather than the Foolish Burial Goods. And this deck rarely ever plays into Nibiru, so yeah, that's it for the supplemental engine of Fenrir and Brow. Actually, let's talk about this real quick because this is supplemental engine. Basically, things that don't minimize your hand, right? Because Brow replaces itself, and Fenrir obviously replaces itself, right? With Brow being able to draw a card and Fenrir replacing itself. I'm also running 3 Upstart Goblin. So this is probably a very unpopular take, but I did see Robin D play it in one of his replays, and the Witness is a big fan of Upstart Goblin. I wanted to give it a try. This card has been great. Again, makes the deck 37 cards because you are on a 40 card deck, and it just allows you to see more of your board breakers, more of your Brows, more of your Fenrirs, more of your Purrely quick play spells. This card is great. Before you write in the comment being like, puzzle, that's so weird, don't, give it a try. Just give it a try. If not, you can easily replace this with like the Foolish Burial package by just removing a Fenrir and replacing these 3 cards with the Foolish Burial package, the 2 Foolish Burial Goods, the 1 Black Oat Last, and the 1 Metal Foes Fusion. I think it's a very easy replacement. Just this card to me is really, really good, and I genuinely like it. Unfortunately, this deck already just inherently plays into Droll, and Droll does hurt depending on the hand that you have, right? So depending on the hand that you have, you can play through Droll very easily. Like if you opened a Delicious, it's very easily you can play into Droll. But it all, like I said, it's all hand dependent. So let's talk about the board breakers. I don't think the board breaker anything has changed. The 3 Dark Ruler No More, arguably the best board breaker card. Card's fantastic. Yeah, this card's just great. It deals with Desiree, negate, and stuff like that. It's really good. Yeah, it forces interactions. The next one, 3 Ultimate Slayer. Another really good one. Your extra deck is not as tight, so you can afford to play a couple of targets. Only thing about Ultimate Slayer is the fact that it cannot be responded to through monster effects, but it can totally be responded through like spell and trap. So like a lot of the times I Ultimate Slayer target, my opponent activates a spell or trap, and then they activate a monster effect because they're technically responding to the monster effect. It's still really good. It's not bad. These are the primary 6 board breakers. I was also on the 2 additional Lightning Storms, but I found that card in the main to be a little bad because I tried to play around Droll by if I open Sleepy or I open Pretty, I always try my best to play during the draw phase to play around Droll. So Lightning Storm was always kind of dead in that regard, and I didn't like that. For the last 2 cards, we're playing the one called by the grave. I mean, to avoid things like Droll and stuff. And then the 1 triple tactics talent. I mean, it went to 1. This card is also a pseudo board breaker, extremely potent in that regard. It will be missed, but yes, it was a disgusting card. So that is it for the deck. That is a flat 40. Let's go on to the extra deck. I don't know why I don't have this out. Excuse me. Okay, so let's go to the extra deck. So for the extra deck, it's pretty basic. I think you guys have seen this quite before. It's pretty standard. So we're running the 2 happy. The 2 happiness. This card's fantastic. The more I play this deck, the more I realize that this is probably the best little monster to start with. Not to start with, I'm sorry, to go second with, because you could just search any Purrely card, and then it non-targets halves a monster on the field. The 2 plump, this is your turbo into Big Noir. So if you go into this turn 1 and your opponent doesn't have any interruptions, or you have protection via the field spell, you are going to have a Big Mat Noir that turn. The 1 Little Noir. Actually, this one, funny story, I love this card because my friend from Peru actually gave it to me. It's a Spanish E Purrely Noir, quarter century rare. Sorry, I just wanted to give a quick shout out there to you, Alejandro. Love you, buddy. The 1 beauty. I used to run two beauty. I just felt like it's not needed for me personally. If you're ending on a beauty, I mean that's a really a suboptimal board. So yeah, but beauty's there. Still a great card. The two boss monsters of the deck, of course, the two big cats. Towers unaffected by everything your opponent throws at it. It's fantastic. You want to hard make it half the time, but if you have to make it with a trap, don't feel bad about it because I'm sure you can still keep playing through that. For the rest of the XYZ, we are playing the one Sylvan Princess Sprite. This is just to kind of keep the engine going with your spells to kind of keep it in rotation. If you need just that one extra spell to kind of attach to your monster, this card's great. Uh, this also right here, if you manage to mill a brow, it did get sent by a card effect, so you do draw one. So I think that's pretty interesting. For the links, we're running the one Relinquish Anima. This is just a skill check on players. Keep in mind, all your little Purrelys are level 1. Really good. The one SP Little Knight, if you do manage to end on a couple of boards where you have a big Purrely Noir, I always tend to end on an SP Little Knight as well. So a big Purrely and an SP Little Knight is usually game. And then for your Ultimate Slayer targets, we're running obviously the one Aggregator, the one Malong, the one Tri Brigade Arms rank 5 one for your Link targets. And that is to basically be able to dump the Garura and draw one off of Ultimate Slayer. It's I would say it's pretty good. I have no complaints about the extra deck. I think the extra deck is fine as is. I did get some questions at locals like why I don't play Zeus. Well, because I feel like if you're already going into Zeus, you are in a losing position. So there's just no need, and Zeus takes up too much of the extra deck space. I just rather not play Zeus. Let's go to the side deck. So the side deck that I've been rocking recently, I think is pretty standard for today's metagame. The 3 Lancia for Malice, 3 Retaliating Sea. I spoke to Robin D about this on Dueling Book. This card's really good in games that in basically really hard matchups such as Memento, because like most of their Memento spells special summon, so you just drop this down and they kind of pass because it's a one-sided macrocosmos. It's really good. Plus, it's another body for you to to link off with if need be. But this card is just so fantastically good. I also did this on against like Unchained because if they activate Abomination's prison, which is their Rhoda, you can literally chain this because in Abomination's prison's text it does say special summons, so it's considered a card that special summons. So a spell card that special summons. I think that's pretty nifty. DeFi card's good. Nothing to say. Again, if you can special summon out Fenrir, activate this, and then you can just make a big Noir with DeFi, you're basically not losing that ever. For your going first, these are cards that I cite in going first, right? So DeFi, the 3 Book of Moons to dodge things like if you need your Purrely to resolve, your white cat, or your black cat to resolve. Book of Moon is really good, and again, it's really good to Book of Moon like a Malice monster or something. And then, of course, the back row hate, which are the 2 Lightning Storms and the 1 Harpy's Feather. That is a solid 15 count. Like I said, I was maining Lightning Storm in the main, but I try my best to always play during the draw phase, which makes your Lightning Storm dead because you control a card. And I just didn't find the needs for it, honestly. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for the deck profile. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Please let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And again, big shout out to Baltic, Broadbulls, you are awesome, Robin D, and The Witness. So, yeah, catch you guys later.